Two American fighters stand across from each other with pride, power, and history hanging in his right hand. Across from him stood Chris Arreola, a veteran forged through years of ring. This was not merely a title defense. It was a collision between raw. This fight would not be rushed. Wilder, often stereotyped as a destroyer the word itself felt almost ironic when attached to a man with such terrifying power came. The idea wasn't just to hurt him, but to confuse him, to make him wait for something more damaging than the punch itself. Arreola, for his part, was not intimidated. Tonight, those advantages were neutralized. He knew that if he had a window designed for a single right hand. The pace in the early rounds was slower than many expected, almost deceptively calm, and that worked in Arreola's favor. This was the tempo he wanted. He didn't want to be forced into deep waters immediately. He wanted time to breathe, to read, to look for an opening. Yet even in that measured calm, the danger was impossible to ignore. When Wilder threw, even casually, the ring seemed to react. His right hand traveled from distances that didn't make sense, snapping forward with leverage and torque that betrayed his relaxed posture. When it landed clean, even without full commitment, it moved Arreola in ways that heavyweights simply aren't supposed to be moved. Shoulders turned. Balance shifted. Space was created where there had been none a moment before. These weren't fight-ending blows yet, but they were warnings, unmistakable and accumulating. Arreola tried to answer by stepping forward, by changing the look, by attempting to back Wilder toward the ropes. There were moments where he succeeded, moments where Wilder's back brushed against the strands and the crowd collectively leaned forward, waiting to see if the challenger could capitalize. But Wilder's athleticism consistently bailed him out of danger. He slid laterally, pivoted off the ropes, and re-centered himself with surprising grace for a man of his size. Every escape was punctuated by a jab or a chopping right hand, reminders that space was never truly safe. As the rounds progressed, the fight began to reveal its true shape. This was no longer about whether Wilder could land. It was about how long Arreola could absorb what was coming. A sharp right hand down the middle snapped Arreola's head back, opening a cut that seemed to appear almost instantly. The punch wasn't even the hardest Wilder would throw that night, and yet the damage was visible, undeniable. Blood began to creep into the equation, changing the psychology of the bout. Every exchange now carried a visual reminder of the imbalance in power. Wilder, sensing control, began to vary his attack. He shortened the right hand, throwing it with less wind-up, more efficiency, and even more menace. These compact shots stunned Arreola more effectively than the long bombs, allowing Wilder to follow through and stay balanced enough to fire again. An uppercut found its mark. A hook followed. The challenger's toughness kept him upright, but the cumulative effect was clear. His reactions slowed. His movement became more deliberate, less evasive. Then came the moment that shifted the fight irrevocably. A clean, brutal right hand landed with perfect timing, and Arreola went down. It wasn't a dramatic collapse, but a heavy fall, the kind that tells you the body has momentarily betrayed the will. The count echoed through the arena as Arreola gathered himself, forcing his legs to cooperate, forcing his hands back into position. He beat the count, but the damage had been done. The fight had crossed a threshold. Survival was now the primary objective. The bell spared Arreola from further punishment in that round, but it did not reset the balance. Wilder came out in the next frame sharp and focused, snapping jabs, digging to the body, probing for weakness. Arreola's head remained stubbornly in range, his reflexes dulled just enough for Wilder to touch him at will. A shorter right hand stunned him again, confirming what had already become evident. This version of Wilder, disciplined and patient, was far more dangerous than the reckless knockout artist many expected. As the fight moved deeper, the atmosphere shifted from anticipation to inevitability. Wilder's record loomed large, each knockout a ghost in the ring, each statistic reinforcing the sense that this was only a matter of time. Talk of future opponents buzzed around the commentary table, names of giants and champions, of men who had ruled the division with height and reach. Wilder, at 6 feet 7 inches, belonged in that conversation physically, and nights like this were his argument made flesh. Arreola, battered but unbowed, continued to press forward, driven by pride and a refusal to quit. His corner urged him on, but even they could see the toll accumulating. His face told the story in bruises and swelling. His punches, once heavy and thudding, lost their snap, turning into desperate swings that carried more hope than threat. Each time he loaded up, Wilder was gone, stepping just out of range before snapping back with a jab that whipped Arreola's head to the side. There was a visible tension in Wilder's approach now, a balance between professionalism and something like compassion. He had spoken before about the reality of hurting people in this sport, about the necessity of violence even when you don't wish lasting harm on your opponent. That conflict played out in real time as he broke Arreola down methodically, choosing clean shots over reckless exchanges, choosing control over chaos. He wanted the fight finished, but not in a way that crossed into cruelty. By the later rounds, Arreola's condition became increasingly concerning. The jabs alone were disorienting him, snapping his head back with a whiplash effect that left his legs unsteady. His eyes struggled to track Wilder's movement. 3 punch combinations landed with little resistance. Body shots folded him in place. At a certain point, the question ceased to be whether Arreola could stand, and became whether he should be allowed to continue absorbing this kind of punishment. The referee took closer looks. The corner exchanged worried glances. Blood flowed more freely now, streaking down Arreola's face, painting a stark contrast.